Hey there, riders. If you might have seen on my Instagram post about, I'm going to end up putting in ignition coil relocation. What we're going to do is we're going to end up putting it here. Going to have a bracket that goes here and here. Now here's the kicker. I am going to make these myself. I don't believe paying for it if you can build it yourself. This is going to end up being a fabrication project. There's going to be multiple parts. You're going to ask yourself, well, how can I be able to do that? What I have right here is a 1/8 inch welded steel rod. This, we're going to use this as a way to be able to form. And we can bend it however we want. As you can see, it's very pliable. You could actually use copper wiring on that, but I would recommend using something like this because of the length. And what else are you going to use it for? This cost me about $2 over at Menards. Save big money at Menards. Those who know, know. Those who don't know, look it up. Yeah, this is just a 1/8 inch, 3-foot section here. And this is what I'm going to end up using in order to be able to form. So that way, I can get the bends properly. So that way I can use this. This is, flat steel, as you can see, and it's about 1 1/4, and it's 3 feet long, and this cost me about $6 over at Menards. No, I'm not going to sing again. People think I can't sing worth crap, and I gotta agree with them. So that's what we're going to end up doing. We're going to end up putting together, doing this, then using this. Now I think 1 inch might have been a little bit too much, but we'll see. Once we get the forms going on this, then we can be able to determine exactly if we want. Aluminum was like $10 for a 3-foot section. It's like $10, good Lord, that's a lot of money. If you look at something, just the bracket itself, which costs about $40, which is way overpriced for what exactly it does. I mean, you're just relocating, just removing the bolts on there. So why the hell should you pay $40 for something that's stamped, probably end up bending, and you're not exactly too sure on that? As you can see, this is where bolt 1 is going to be at. This is where bolt 2 is going to be at. Now, what we want to do is bend. We're going to end up having everything inside here. We're going to have the ignition coil on the outside. And then we're going to end up having the key possibly on the top. I'm thinking that it might be better to have the key on the top part. And this is going to be bulging outwards, because that's what you're going to need to do. So we know exactly I know exactly how I'm going to end up doing this. And a lot of times it's a little bit more difficult. I can always write out, but you want to be able to get it down to 45-degree angle, like that. Going over a little bit too much is fine. So now we know we need two 45-degree angles. We're going to end up stopping it right here, because we're going to need to have the key, the ignition key, to go right over inside this area. Now this is going to represent your top part. So we're going to come down probably about to here. Yeah. And then we're going to end up bending it up like so. Now we know exactly how we're going to do it. Now I'd say, well, why can't we just mirror this over? Because of how this metal is. We're not going to end up doing it like that. We got to actually do this. And this is actually the right thickness to be able to do that. We now know that we're going to end up coming out a little bit, because we have to come out. And if I remove this would be a lot easier, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that on there. So we know that we're going to end up coming out outwards. Well, of course, we're going to end up cutting off a piece here. So now, because we got that the way that we got, now we can bend it a little bit so that way we can get the angle that we want. And to be quite honest, I should cut this down to a little bit better, but we'll see. So using this and the way that we got it bent will help us visualize exactly what we're going to do. Now we got this coming out a little bit, so we're going to end up doing the same thing. Now, we're going to end up mirroring the same thing as what we did over for here. We're going to end up going upwards. It'll look a little bit goofy at first because of the initial bend that I did, but I will be able to correct that later on. Now we actually got the visualizations. We're going to end up going over to the table now to help us out a little bit. Alright, so as you saw, kind of messed it up a little bit, but that's fine. Because, nice thing about metal, if you make a mistake, you can always bend it back into shape. So as you see, bent a little bit over here. So now I'm gonna get it straight a little bit, and then I'm gonna go right where I was at here and bend upwards. Now this won't look nice, but the whole point is being able to get this to the point in which you want it to. Make the bends the way that you want. We know about right here. And we can do it like that. It doesn't look perfect, but you get the idea, so that way you can start making measurements exactly of what you want. Changing up the angles a bit, you can get the exact what you want. In fact, with the metal, with the being as wide as I have it, I realized exactly what I planned on doing was because of some of the curvatures that are set up on here. So we'll go back over to the bike and see how this is. As you can see, I did goof up a little bit, but it made it a little bit, gave us a little bit more of an idea exactly what we want to do. Which angles do we want? I mean, this angle right here would be ideal, straight down, or we could go at an angle. We want to try to keep it as close to the way that the engine's jugs are at, or yeah, we'll call them jugs. So that way we could get an idea. So now you see that the way that I did this forms right along the engine. I'm like, great, that's exactly what I want. So this will be the side in which we'll work with. So now we know that we could do it like this. And all we gotta do is bend the metal the way that we want. In fact, kind of make it look like some handlebars here. And look at that. Now, because we're going close to the engine the way that it is, we're going to want to use the one that's closest to the degree, to the angles here. So, because this one comes out a little bit more, we don't want to do that. We want to make plenty of room so that way we can get the key inside here, the lock. Running it as close to as possible is a good way to do it. Now, one of the things we might end up having, well, we'll definitely have a problem with, but we can take care of that inside the welding process. That's why I went with steel versus aluminum. because you want to get you want those ignition coils to go right here, and then they'll feed right off of here and right over there. As you can see, this is the side that we want to go with, because this one comes off a little bit too steep, and this comes off exactly what we want. Now the reason why that they have the angles inside there, inside the bracket that it is to keep it away from there. That way your jugs aren't going up against the ignition coil. Once I have that off, I'll be able to show you. But so far this gives us an excellent idea what we want to go with. So then we'll want to be able to transfer this so that we get a better idea what we want. So this is the angle that we're going to go with. The nice thing about flat metal is that you can always take off what you want. We're going to end up doing like this. I mean, I could, if I wanted to, I could bend this far away, say like this, and like this. That way I could have it far away from here. I'm Wild Rider. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and go ahead and click that subscribe button and that like button. And until next time, ride safe, and I'll see you in the next ride.